In this video, let's talk about warming up for a practice session. Now, warming up is completely individual. Every person needs something different to warm up, and this is also what I want to encourage you in this or through this video, finding ways to warm up that suit you and your lifestyle, your situation, and also your practice. Now, I divided this video into two parts. It's number one, it's the mental preparation or mental warm-up, and then the physical preparation, the physical warm-up. Let's start with the mental preparation. Very importantly, if you now, for example, want to practice in the morning, so directly out of bed, or you want to practice after work, in between work, or something like this, you come with a very different mindset into your practice. And sometimes this specific mindset that you have, for example, after a long day of work or in between studies or whatever, or directly after waking up, this mindset is not really super valuable for a practice session. So in order to kind of find a clear distinction between your everyday life and the practice session, it really makes sense to find something, a routine for yourself, a ritual or anything that kind of sets you in the right mindset. It could be anything from simply going outside and running because you feel being outside in the fresh air is nice for you. It could be something like meditation. I personally like to quietly sit there before a practice session and kind of get rid of all my thoughts and tune into my body a little bit more. I also use breathing exercises or shaking exercises, some loud music, or anything that basically is super different from my everyday life. And after doing this for about, it could be anything between maybe 3 and 10 or 15 minutes. You can obviously also do it much longer or super short. It's also a matter of practice, that maybe after a lot of practicing this, it could be condensed into a 1 or 2 or 3 minute thing. But after doing this, I kind of feel ready in a mental way to then start physically warming up or preparing myself for a practice session. Now, for the physical preparation, it's also really individual, and you should ask yourself, what do you need in order to be completely prepared for what you are doing? And this is super important, asking yourself, what are you doing later? For example, if you are doing handstands in a practice session and you already know that you have certain physical limitations or injuries, this is something you should do in your warm-up. So for example, taking care of your wrists or maybe your hamstrings, the length and the backside of your leg, or anything that might hinder you from doing a very nice and healthy and proper training session, practice session later on. So this is something that you should ask yourself, is there anything that I really need to, the NEED in big capital letters, that you need to do before you can actually start the practice session? Many things do not only do things they need, but they think they need to do in order to then later have a very nice practice session. And many of the things that people are doing in their warm-ups is quite redundant. So before starting a practice session, you do not definitely need to warm up every single joint of your body in a very isolated way. This is simply not needed per se. If you feel you really need it, because then afterwards you have a very, very, very nice feeling, please do it for yourself. Generally speaking, as a physical preparation, it's rather wise to make sure that the temperature of your body is quite high, or higher than usual. So in winter times, my My physical preparation takes longer. I really jump and run around, start with a light practice so that I actually feel a sense of heat in my body, because then the body just simply works a little bit better. You want to increase blood flow, so everything moving, not static stretching. But everything moving around, jumping, walking, rope skipping could be a very nice way. Um, yeah, that's basically it. So, warming up, mental preparation, and the physical preparation. The mental preparation is a way to set a clear border between everyday life and your practice session, that also the practice session becomes something a little bit more sacred and special. It really helps me in my practice. And then the physical preparation, things that you really need to do in order to later on start moving. Now, generally speaking, the mental and the physical preparation you can also do at the same time. This is then up to you to find a way to find a routine or a ritual or something that combines both things into one. The other thing is that is quite important also for me to mention: do not fall victim of your warm up. Sometimes I actually practice without any warm up at all. Obviously, it's then quite important to know your body and know yourself, what you can and what you can't handle, because I think sometimes it's just a very nice practice in itself without a warm up to go in a practice without any preparation at all. Because in the end, this is kind of what I strive for with many things in my practice, that I simply want to be able to do them, not after 1 hour of warming up, but actually right away when I directly get out of bed. And obviously this takes a lot of time, and some things that I'm practicing right now that are rather specialized, I definitely need to warm up. But having this idea in mind to also being able to practice without 1 hour or 2 hour long warm-ups is quite important in the way, I think. So make sure to understand yourself. What should your mental preparation be? What should your physical preparation be? And when do you feel optimally ready for your practice session? These are things to consider. If you do have any questions, please simply ask me, and we can work on a practice routine or a warm-up routine that kind of fits you. Um, I definitely encourage you to explore for yourself a little bit, um, because this is simply what I like to do, to open up some music and then get in the groove. And with time, you will find a warm-up routine that is quite nice for you. That's it. All the best. Enjoy practicing.